Everyone has good ideas, but ideas without action is nothing. So action, yun lang, tumayo ka from your bed and do something. So what is Vanity Matrix? Ito yung mga tao na may business na mas marami pa engagement sa Facebook kaysa sa income. You have to know how to invest. So there are a lot of investment vehicles. So i-cut short lang natin, no. The safest is
AIM has started its legacy as a pioneer business school in Asia. It was founded in 1968 by Harvard Business School Advisory Group, academicians, and prominent business leaders. As the first school in Southeast Asia to receive the AACHB accreditation in 2004, AIM has set the standards for the new generation of leaders, managers, entrepreneurs, and innovators who are ready to make an impact on society. Our graduates are leaders who inspire and transform their industries. Becoming a student of AIM is the first step to creating a legacy as a leader.
MBA graduate at Asian Institute of Management, currently managing consultant, business owner, and teaching staff at AIM. Carlo Jan Amores.
Hey everyone, welcome to another podcast episode of Let's G. We're here at Concessa Hall, one of the top-notch event venue in Northern Samar. Here with us to talk about building your wealth, Mr. Carlo Jan Amores. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Carlo. Carlo is a good friend of mine and he's been working in Manila pero umuwi siya because of the fiesta of Bobon. Happy Fiesta, Bobon.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, we're going to have a podcast and talk about building your wealth kasi si Carlo is aside sa nag-work siya after he passed the board as an engineer, nag-work siya sa corporate and marami siyang natutunan doon sa trabaho niya until such time na nag-aral siya sa Asian Institute of Management. Tama ba? So, tell us about yourself, Carlo.
I think I can talk about myself a little, no? Because baka isipin nyo sino tang taong ko.
Para
sinasabi.
para makilala nyo kung sino yung guest natin.
So, yeah, I graduated electrical engineering here in UEP and worked for a while, I think 4 years, practicing practicing electrical engineering, no. And then, siguro after 4 years, I decided na walang pera sa engineering. Joke. Depends.
Ba kayo?
May pera naman
ba?
sa engineering pag certain industries, but I don't wanna go into those industries, no. So, I realized na mukhang
You can't really
mukhang pera pala, no. I mean, everyone
hindi ka yayaman, parang ganon.
Hindi naman, not to get rich, but everyone wants financial freedom. So, financial freedom is okay. And I realized one of the most feasible way to do that, no, is to really get into business and finance. So, I applied for a scholarship at the Asian Institute of Management, no. And then took MBA for 2 years almost, graduated as class valedictorian with a distinction, no. And I thought so on paper sobrang ganda ng ano ko, no.
Credentials.
If you go to LinkedIn and you look at my credentials, oh shit. So I thought, no, but reality hits. The job market is really tough. And actually that's also the reason that I went fully into business, because I was working as a management consultant, no, after AIM. Actually, before even I got my job, there's a lot of rejections, no. Hindi madali maganap ng trabaho. Actually, the job that I got was through my network din sa AIM, actually, no.
Okay,
Also,
mga classmates.
No, 1 year ahead, MBA din. Also, a Waray nun, from Tacloban naman.
Okay.
Pero yeah, what I know, he works now in he's in Bangko Sentral now, I think. So I went to KPMG. I was the country head for advanced data analytics. And then I was also looking for, syempre, I want to grow naman, diba? So I was looking for another job. That job kasi is one of my dream job. So it's a management consulting role in McKinsey. So McKinsey is a global company, recognized, one of the biggest consulting company in the world. No? So I really wanted to get the job. Actually, I also interviewed with BCG and Bain, basically the big three, no, consulting. And sabi ko sarili ko, if hindi ako matanggap sa any ng tatlong to, maybe this is a sign na kailangan ko mag-business na lang.
Mag-focus sa business.
Yeah. And luckily, di ako natanggap. Anyway, so actually, I was so
Blessing in
devastated.
disguise.
Yeah. So I was so devastated kasi pangarap ko talaga siya, no? So, grabe rejection. I was down for how many days? Sabi ko, siguro bobo talaga ako. I don't deserve.
Grabe. Sa level mong yan, bobo na pala.
Hindi, wala. I didn't make the cut. So, parang...
kulang pa, parang
kulang talaga. So, I was devastated. And turns out, I did my may consulting, nag-freelance consulting na lang ako. So, my very first clients were also my people that I met at AIM, at AIM, no? So, okay naman, nag-work. It gave me freedom. And then, from that on, I was able to build my portfolio of businesses, no? And of course, the wealth or the money that comes with it. So now, I am a philanthropist. Joke. Let's skip philanthropist now. Right now, I'm still doing a lot of things, no, to preserve and grow my wealth. And at the same time, I'm helping some organizations on the side. But most of my time, I really spend with my businesses. And I seldom I come here to Northern Summer to enjoy and have a vacation. So
how many years, just to backtrack, after you graduated engineering, College of Engineering in UEP, how many years did you work in Manila in the corporate? Ano yung job description mo doon?
Yeah.
Ilang years?
So, I graduated 2014, no, and then immediately took my board exam, and I worked for around 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, 2018. 2018 I entered AIM and graduated almost 2020 before pandemic, no. So my job in corporate, on paper, it's really on property management. So it's making sure that everything in a property works. So if you go to a building, no, so there are facilities there like generators, elevators. So that's my main job. But I think personality-wise, gusto ko makialam sa mga bagay eh. So
malikot yung utak mo.
Medyo Jollibee din, no, bida-bida.
Bida-bida.
So even if hindi ko trabaho, like my bosses, I ask for work talaga. Hey, can I do this? So if my reporting to the executives, nag-atribida talaga ako, hey, can I do the reporting? So somehow on that 4 years, I've done a lot, not just on my core job, but side also, no. So I had prior knowledge in finance, accounting. So medyo naintindihan ko by just joining those meetings and then volunteering, no.
And then how did your interest in management or business part, like saan mo naisip or paano mo nakilala yung AIM?
So I worked in Rockwell, no. Rockwell, if you know Rockwell, I would assume it's the most they have the most expensive real estate developments in the country. And naturally, my colleagues there are actually mayayaman. So I have people, I have office mates. I mean, office mate ko talaga na kaibigan ko. Until now, ninong ako ng anak nila. Anak ng executive sa Meralco. So, ganung level din yung employees doon, no? So basically, the environment introduced me to
Wealthy people.
to how that world moves, no, because it's an entirely different world.
Tapos sa kanila mo na laman yung gano'n na mayroon palang.
So they see naman they see my curiosity and syempre my skills. Graduated cum laude and as an engineer, no, so I think I know naman a couple of things. So hey, why not
Why not pursue?
I knew that I wanna do a masters, no, but I don't know what masters. Ateneo is actually right in front of our office, Ateneo Business School. So basically my first choice was Ateneo Business School. Of course, the reputation of Ateneo, no, it's Ateneo. And I think the tuition was way cheaper than AIM. And my friends told me, no, people I know na, hey, why not try AIM? No, so what's AIM? What's AIM? So they introduced me, no, so that's why I went to AIM, no. And yun, I applied for scholarship, luckily. When I looked at the tuition, immediately sabi ko, I think I cannot.
Oo.
Di ko kaya.
Ako din eh.
Ano maghahanap ng 1.5 bata or in our time 2 million for the tuition. So sabi nila, no, you can just apply for scholarship. Sabi ko, at that level of school, baka I wouldn't make the cut. Baka ano yung pagmamalaki ko sa scholarship application na they would accept me. But as the saying goes, no, paano ka mananalo sa loto kung hindi ko naman tumataya. So I just applied, no, out of nowhere, applied. Didn't expect.
At jackpot.
Yeah, chamba. So I was really happy, no. They gave that scholarship to me. Actually, I know the professor that awarded. He was also my professor in AIM.
By the way, for context, the scholarship, kumbaga, yung amount, supposedly, the amount of tuition na required, kumbaga, sa 2 years na MBA, magkano?
I'm not sure, no. I think ranging from 1.5 to 2 million during my time. So, ganun yung range niya.
So, para alam lang ng iba
So,
anong pinag-uusapan namin.
Yeah, so actually, a good friend of mine also, no, friends of mine, co-scholarship ko rin, co-scholars, dalawa sila first placer ng CPA board examination. And my group kami yung freeloaders. Kasi mga freeloader kami talaga. Literal na freeloader kami, no. And pagka-graduate namin, first pagkakuha namin ng salary, ng job, and then of course, yung salary medyo, if you were gonna pay for that kind of tuition, you have to be getting salaries also that can pay, no, para may ROI ka naman sa investment mo. So after AIM, medyo malalaki yung salaries namin. I think times 3, times 4, times 5 pa.
After getting that degree.
Yeah. Tapos sabi namin, nagkita-kita kami. Actually, pwede na ako mag-retire kasi na ROI na ako. Kasi wala kaming wala kaming binayaran.
Kasi scholar
So ROI na kami guys. So mga freeloaders kami doon.
So after nung AIM, after you graduated, ano yung pinaka unang, 'di ba, na-mention mo naman na you have various of businesses. Pwede mo ba kaming i-introduce doon sa kahit depende sa iyo kung papangalanan mo hindi, pero ano yung mga industries or services ng businesses?
Well, I started really sa management consulting, no, and until now I'm still doing management consulting. Right now actually I have big clients, no. You can see look it up naman in my LinkedIn. So the biggest construction company in the Philippines is one of my clients right now. So I started there. Technically siya, it's a professional business, so the product is me. I offer my expertise. But before I did my own, I did my own consulting. I was already a management consultant after graduating in AIM kasi I worked for another year, no. After graduation, after a year, that's where I went as a management consultant on my own. And the money there is okay, no?
Nung nakaipon-ipon ka ng malaki, kasi syempre yung fee mo sa managing, consultant fee, tama ba?
Actually, no, my business, my big businesses didn't need a lot of capital. Because if you wanna build a business and you need the problem with starting a business with a huge capital, there's a lot of ways to go wrong and waste that capital.
Mm.
Rather, if you start a business without capital, you're gonna be wrong because doing business is getting the right formula the faster, the faster the better. You will always be wrong.
Trial and error.
Trial and error, yeah. It's trial and error. Even me, coming from an MBA background, we studied business as a science. We treat it as a science. But there's always that trial and error subject to it. Even science, may trial and error sa science. And the thing with business is, if you start without capital, and if you go wrong, you don't lose any money. You just lost time, but you gained experience. Compared to you starting a capital, there are a lot of ways to go wrong. Sayang capital. So one of the business that I have that's really producing a lot of cash flow is it's in the US. It's a shipping container trading. So it's established in the US. I have some structures set up in the Philippines also because all of our employees are in the Philippines. Actually, 50% of our workforce is here in Northern Samar. And then 50% is scattered throughout the country, And we didn't start with the huge capital. I think 30,000. I have 2 partners, so there are 3 of us. We just started with 30,000 each. So yung 30,000 yun, di pa yung nagamit. Kasi ginamit lang namin yun for business registration expenses.
Yung mga operational lang.
Yeah, operational lang. The requirement, pre-operational expenses. And for the business itself, hindi namin kinailangan ng capital.
So, if I may ask, di ba yung sa shipping containers, saan nyo kinukuha yung supply and saan nyo nakuha yung, kumbaga, paano nyo nakuha yung contact, parang ganon. How did it start talaga?
That's where my 2 partners come in, because if you've heard naman, my background is in real estate, mainly real estate and then data analytics, my 2 partners, one of which is also a good friend of mine, kapitbahay ko rin sa Bobon, they came from that industry. So they know how the industry works. And then they were just fed up with their bosses because their bosses were asking them unreasonable things. Like kasi work from home, di ba? After pandemic naka-work from home, tapos nire-request sila na, dapat naka-zoom ka 24/7, tapos parang pag umihi ka lang at lumampas ka ng konti, dinedetak yung sahod mo.
Okay.
So there were crazy rules, and they were really angry. And actually, mag-anniversary kami ngayon. Kasi ganito, nakakatawa kwento. Kasabay ko siya pauwi ng Bobon. Mag-fiesta. Ganit, itong petsa na to mismo. And then, kasabay ko siya. Ako nagda-drive. Sabi ko, di ko pa pangalanan. Kasi, for security reasons, kaya I won't name drop people. Ano ba ginagawa mo? Sabi niya. Kausapin mo ako? Kasi ilang hours yung drive from Manila to dito, halos 24 hours Sabi ko, kasapin mo ako para di ako makatulog. Sige, sabay tayo. Total, nag-work din ako. So, nag-work siya sa previous company niya. Tapos sabi ko, kamusta? Ano yung ano ginagawa mo? Sabi niya, gusto ko na nga mag-resign Naiinis ako dito. Actually, gusto ko na rin magtayo ng ganitong negosyo na lang din. Sige, gawin natin yan. May, tawag dito, may business background naman ako. Tapos doon, habang nag-drive kami sa 24 hours na yun, inaaral ko yung business nila and nag-feedback siya, tapos ang dami namin kino-consider. Actually, nabuo namin yung buong business plan.
Doon sa pag-uusap lang.
Pag-uusap lang namin to replicate, Pagdating namin dito, parang August 8 kami dumating. Yung fiesta is August 10. So 2 days. Sabi ko, Jendra, pa-fiesta lang muna natin. Tapos meet tayo after August 11. Meet tayo kaagad. So, okay. So, parang, di ko alam, parang di niya pinansin. Nakala niya na wala lang, na ano ko lang, na parang wala lang, nausapan lang. Kasi gano'n naman.
Hindi niya alam na seryoso ka niya talaga.
Ganun kasi ako. If I see something interesting, I do it. If you're a businessman, hindi pwede yung bukas na yan. If you see an opportunity at you have energy, you do it. That's actually, from my observation, that's what separates businessmen and those people who build wealth to those people who don't. Action. Everyone has good ideas, but ideas without action, it's nothing. So action, yun lang. Tumayo ka from your bed and do something. Malay mapupuntan mo. Anyways, going back. So Tapos fiesta, August 10, August 11, meeting kami. So mga puyat pa, meeting kami. Tapos establish everything, and then that's how we built the business. So technically, the expertise came from them on how the business...
Yung operation.
Operational side. Exactly. And then I provided naman the guidance on the business side. Anything that they can do. So finance, accounting, human capital, some part in marketing. So anything that they can do, I provided. So establishing a business, branding. So mabilis yun. Kasi may kakilala naman ako. We built websites, etc.
Okay.
So a lot of it is branding actually. No? So if interested kayo kung paano namin ginawa yung branding, pwede rin natin pag-usapan.
Oo. Yun din yung actually itatanong ko. Before we dive into yung iba mo pang businesses, ito yung isang naku-curious ako. People like me, for example, keeps on promoting, building my brand or my businesses sa Facebook. And honestly, nakakapagod naman siya talaga na may mix mo na kasi yung personal mo na life with business. Samantalang may ibang businesses na hindi mo makikitang mag-post sa Facebook pero hindi parang behind the scenes grabe pala yung business, napakalaki na, etc. So, ano ba talaga yung tamang way ng pag-build ng business? Is Facebook okay or mas okay na saan ba dapat pumunta?
Actually, it depends, no? It depends on a lot. Because when it comes to business, the first thing that you need to understand is the word complexity. It's complex. When we say it's complex, it's composed of multiple variables. No, hindi siya straight line. For example, if ano ba yung medyo simple? If yung electric pan sira, konti lang yung probability na bakit siya sira. Sira yung electrical, sila yung ganitong part. Yung business hindi, marami yung magkakadugtong. And the thing also is, yung mga magkaka-related things na yon also affects themselves. No. So when you look at business and when you approach it, you should really have that mindset na trial and error. Because what you're doing is you have to understand the formula, what's not working at what is working. It doesn't mean it worked for them, it worked for everyone else, that it would work for you. No, so you have to really find that formula. No, and to have so marami, no, to have a very big business is simple lang. You always have to look for scalability. Scalability means na if you find the formula, if you find a working formula, make sure that you can replicate it. That's how you build wealth. For example, siomai. Ito lagi akong sinasabi, no, siomai. Meron kayong isang siomayan na maliit, yung nakapadyak or whatsoever, isang maliit na siomayan. Sabihin mo yung net income mo dyan, pinakamalinis mo na income is 100 pesos lang per day. Maliit, di ba? Isang siomayan, 100 pesos per day. Pero what if yung siomayan mo, nag-ooperate ka sa buong Pilipinas, meron kang 1,000 na siomayan na may 100 pesos per day, edi may 100,000 income ka per day. So that should be your mindset, no, when you look at business. So if you wanna create a business, start first on something that is scalable. No, so pero yung question is, how do you really build a business? No, why is people not marketing, nag-work hindi? Actually, we call that vanity matrix. So what is vanity matrix? Ito yung mga tao na may business na mas marami pa engagement sa Facebook kaysa sa income.
Okay.
Vanity ka, di ba? Sikat ako sa Facebook. But are you generating revenues? So kami, you can't see us anywhere. I'm not even saying our company. But our annual revenue is, we're approaching 1 billion per annum na.
Per annum.
Yeah, and we're growing around 50% to 70% per annum. So hopefully next year mag-grow. So
on one business, yung ano lang.
Yung container.
Yung
Actually,
container
that's the biggest business that I have now. No. So and we don't advertise anywhere.
Yun na
on
nga
Facebook.
yung curious ako eh.
So it depends.
Saan ba talaga siya dapat i-market?
Yeah. So depende yan sa type of business you have, industry. For example, kami container. I don't need to promote naman my business on Facebook kasi nasa Facebook ba yung mga customer namin? Wala naman dun, di ba? No. Actually, we also have this someone, an alumnus from AIM also, but she's not MBA, no? Ano siya, Masters in Development Management. She wanted to be an MBA, but yung scholarship niya is hindi inallow sa MBA. So, napilitan siya dun sa MBA.
Talagang,
So,
wala din siya sa Facebook.
Ay, hindi. Andun siya lagi sa Facebook. Mas marami
okay.
pa yung Facebook engagement niya
Okay.
kaysa sa profit
revenue.
niya, sa revenue niya. So, di lagi namin dinidiscuss, no? Ano ba to? Ba't inuunan yung vanity matrix, no? So, vanity matrix supposed to be if wala ka na talagang ginagawa, gusto mo na lang magpadayaw, tawag dyan. Eh, di pa-interview ka sa media. So, technically, having interviews in media, it takes a lot of time, no? Instead of you using that time in business. So, why would you do that? But the point is, advertising is all about understanding your customer. So, first is understand what business do you want, and is it scalable? And second is customer. Customer lang. You have to focus, put all of your energy on your customer. Don't think about yourself. Think about your customer. What do they want? Why would they buy your product? What will they get if they buy your product? No.
So if hindi sa Facebook ang pagmamarket ng
No,
business.
depends. No, I'm saying is you don't market on Facebook if your industry doesn't need to market on Facebook. So for example, I'm selling container. My customers will not buy container from Facebook, no? But it's a different story.
May mga websites ng ibang like
yeah, we of course we have our own website because that's how we reach our customer. We do emails. But
emails.
Yeah. But if your business is something like what you do, events, of course you need to market on Facebook because your customers are on Facebook, no?
Okay.
Couples, people that are having birthdays, and so you have to market on Facebook, no? And so yan yung second advice ko, no? So first, scalable business. Second is customers. Understand really your customer. How do you understand your customer? So we have frameworks, no, in MBA. You separate diretso na pala tayo marketing. Marketing. I have to understand the customer's perspective in 3 phases. Ano yung phases na yun? The first phase is the pre-purchase phase. You have to understand how do they think even before they buy their products. Second is the purchase part. What do they think? What do they experience during purchasing your product? And the third is the post-purchase.
After sales.
So you have to be very excellent on those 3 parts. So if you master mo yung tatlong yan, for sure, lalaki yung business mo, customers will come to you. No? And yun. So yun, you have to understand that. So for example, if you think yung customer nyo nagbababad sa Facebook, then you have to create content na magbababad
visible
sa Facebook. Yeah. And ito also, one of the most important aspect in business is focus. You cannot be everything to everyone. Wag mong i-try na i-please lahat kasi hindi mo ma-please lahat. You have to start with your niche. Very important yung niche strategy, no? Focus on one niche, ma-perfect mo yung isang niche, then move on to another niche.
So, kunwari, for me, currently, ang talagang pinaka-expertise ko is events.
Events, yeah.
So, kung kunwari, ang events ay may system na pwede na akong mag-venture sa ibang business. Parang ganon?
Depends, no? Kasi what we're talking about is growth, no? Growth. If you're convinced na you have perfected na your formula, then it's the time that you can seek growth. No, so kung convinced ka na, tsaka mag-seek na growth. So seeking for growth, may decision matrix din dyan. How do you look for growth? So there are 4 ways, no? First way is so X and Y axis. The Y axis is customer, the X axis is product. So first growth strategy is same product, same market, same product, same customer. Mag-expand ka lang ng location, hanapin mo yung same group of customer mo, offer mo ng same product. That's the first growth strategy.
Scale up lang muna.
Yeah, scale up ka lang. As in, if you're very dominant here in Northern Samar, move to Eastern Samar, move to Tacloban, and so on, or Manila, whatsoever. So, same product, same customer. Second is, same product, but different customer. So if your events now, if you're focusing, for example, if you're focusing now on weddings, so that's a different customer segment. So mag-isip ka ng ibang customer na same product event. So anong klaseng customer naman? Di siguro mga birthday or 60th anniversary naman. Kasi iba yan sa wedding na wedding talaga. So you're looking for a different set of customer pero same product pa rin yung events na yan. Another is the same customer. So yung wedding customers mo ngayon pero nagbenta ka ng ibang products. So yung same customer mo ngayon, instead of wedding lang is nag-offer ka ng photography, ng videography. Instead of events with photography, financial planning. So whatsoever, ibang product entirely from what you're offering now. And then the fourth category of growth is entirely different product, different customer. So an entirely different business. No. So sa apat na yan, sa tingin mo alin diyan pinakamadaling gawin? No. Before you decide even should I do a different business. So tingnan mo muna kung na-maximize mo na yung what you have now, yung expertise mo, no. You maximize. So ganun siya.
Do you think kunwari sa mga business owners, example, meron silang business right now and okay naman, maandar naman, but there's another business opportunity din na gusto nilang i-take on. Would it be okay or advisable kung meron silang i-hire to do the operations, or dapat ba talaga na lahat ng sisimulan mong business, ikaw talaga yung wala ka munang assistant?
Okay. Actually, that's a very good question, no? That's a very good question. If you look at business is like a baby or a human. If you look at human beings, we have phases. Newborn, toddler, teenager, and then yung marrying age, and then dying age. So businesses are also like that. It goes into phases. So I think we could separate the phases of a business. Me personally, different consulting companies and different business schools have different takes on this. But we all of them agree that businesses have phases. No. Businesses and brands. So brands also. That's why there's what we call brand management. No. So let's talk about business. 3 phases. I think there are 3 phases, and those phases are the startup phase, the growth phase, and the defensive phase. So startup phase is where you literally start the business. This is where you trial and error. You are looking for the right formula. And during startup phase, you do everything. You are the CEO, you are the employee, you are the HR, you are the marketing person. And later on, you can hire 2 people, maybe asawa mo, parents mo. And as an experience now with my biggest business, no, because I'm so used to these things because I've done a lot of businesses, no. Not all of my businesses are successful. A lot of my businesses that I started failed. I also started a laundry business. Actually, it's very profitable in Manila. It's very profitable because I can charge a lot of money, no, by just picking up and delivering the laundry. So I myself delivered laundry. So that I understand, no, ano yung ng customer. It's very profitable. I stopped because I went to AIM na.
Okay.
So hindi ko na siya magagawa. And right now with my expertise and capital, I think actually titingnan ko pa rin balikan yung business na yon, no. Pero parang ayoko na kasi may ibang, yung question mo nga, may ibang opportunity, no. So the point is it failed, no. Not failed in the way na hindi ko napagana gumana siya, but there are other priorities. But apart from that, meron din akong ibang trinay. Marami din akong trinay.
Ano yung mga iba pang mga businesses na
meron dati na electrical engineering services kasi electrical engineering ako. So parang it's not for me. Natatamad ako gumawa ng plans. So marami. Nagbenta-benta din ako ng t-shirt. No? So wala. I tried a lot of things. No? So the point is, by doing those things, I learned a lot, no, on understanding how people think, customers think. So anyway, going to your point. On the startup phase, it's okay na yung original plan mo masira. Importantly, it evolves into something that works. So trial and error. So So once yung sinasabi ko na you find that formula, you can scale now. No?
So, dyan ka palang kukuha ng like assistant.
You cannot scale without people. That's the reality. We cannot scale without people. So scale phase. Sadly, the people that you needed on the startup phase, hindi na sila magta-thrive sa growth phase. Bakit? Sa startup kasi, the people that you need there are people na comfortable with chaos and complexity. Wala kayong system, wala kayong processes. Kayo gumagawa ng processes, no? So, ano ba? Sino ba yung payroll? Sino ba? Ano ba daw? So, every month bago processes. Ganyan, no? Kasi you're uncovering. Pagdating sa growth phase, ibang set ng tao kailangan mo dyan. Yung tao na kailangan mo dyan are people that are quick to move and comfortable na with implementing processes. No, so you have processes na sa ano na kayo niyan, establishment ng process, documentation, o document natin ito, na-process natin, final na ito ganyan. So may winning formula na kayo eh. So you have to hire people. It is entirely set, it's a set of different, if you look at business movies, no, laging may scene lagi sa movie na yung mga empleyado na kasama nila sa unahan, kawawa. Kasi naiiwan. Because that's the reality. Iba yung mindset na tao na kailangan mo. And once you scale, no, maraming problem sa scale. And once you're big enough and wala na talaga kayong mapag-expandan, kasi kayo na yung dominant sa Metro Manila or sa Rizama, dominant na kayo. That's what you call the defensive phase na. Actually, dyan na bumabagal yung mga companies. Kasi bureaucracy, nandyan na yung bureaucracy. Kasi establishment ng processes, sobrang daming processes, magpapaprove ka lang ng something, mahirap, parang gobyerno ka na kayo. Magpaprove ka lang, ang daming dadaanan na approval. So defensive na lang yung gagawin nyo na lang is make sure na yung mga pumapasok na bagong entrant, made-defend nyo yung turf nyo. So yun. So I think you can break it down into 3 phases. And when yun nga, sa tanong mo na, do you need people? Yes, do you need people in the growth phase? So habang wala
so, sa start,
dapat
ikaw lang muna.
Yeah, kabisado mo dapat yung business mo. Ikaw, as in hands-on. Actually, even sa growth phase and the defensive phase, dapat andun ka pa rin eh. Pero mostly sa defensive phase, pwede mo na iwan kasi it's like an animal that's moving on its own. Diba? Kasi andyan na yung mga tao eh. Sila na nang gumagawa. So, ganun na, kahit iwan mo na siya. Pero start-up, I think, and growth phase, dapat I think andun pa rin yung founder.
Alright, so we have tackled so many subjects na.
Pwede MBA na pwede, MBA ka.
Mga freelance questions yun. But this podcast is more of really understanding wealth management. So we wanna ask you, Carlo, from your journey, what mindset shifts separated you from people who only earn income versus those who build lasting wealth?
Actually, I mentioned this earlier, no? It's really what separates people who build wealth are those people who take action. One of my clients, no, I met him at AIM, and it started with this consultation with his thesis. So nagpatulong siya sa thesis niya, and this other course. So we have AIM has another course no, called Masters in Entrepreneurship. So these guys are those who already have businesses and they want to scale their businesses. So nasa growth phase sila, no. So they go to AIM. So these guys have money, no. As naman mga MBAs, mga employees before, so we need money. So hey, come help us do our thesis. So we help them, no. And then, well, they finish their thesis. We just give advice, no. So we're consulting then. And I met him there. And the thing is, he's not really, because there are a lot of smart people I know. And, well, they're earning a lot. But it's not as the same as these people na masipag. Na masipag na madiskarte. Actually, madiskarte, no? That's what separates. Madiskarte na masipag at gumagalaw. And he built his business entirely by doing a lot of things, failing again and doing and failing and so it entirely changed my point of view on what really separates wealthy people from the regular ones. Kasi I have observed, for example, dito na lang sa Northern Samar, people can't even put fruit-bearing plants sa likod ng bahay nila. I mean, it says a lot, no? We have a lot of barren lands. If maglagay ka dyan ng puno, mag-alaga ka ng manok. Kasi ang daming time na tao dito sa
So, parang-
yung summer eh. It's really in the mindset, no?
Nasa yung mga business or entrepreneur mindset talaga is to really spot and look for opportunities.
Yeah, and take action.
Take action.
Because opportunities is always there. No?
Mm.
If you know how to look at it and you take action. Kasi even if you look at opportunity and you don't take action, someone will do it.
Mm.
Someone will do it. And business is, on one part, business is a competition because you compete. But on another part, there's a lot of cooperation doing. This is also one of my biggest problem with Filipinos in general, no? Filipinos, if you want to work with them, na, hey, let's build business, they don't trust you. They don't want to work. If you look at US, China, for example, US, the biggest companies there, the biggest shareholder of a company is just 5%, 10%. So who owns the 95%? A lot of people.
Mm.
So you build scale, you build big businesses by working with a lot of people and bringing their expertise. Filipinos, hindi ganun eh. Parang they don't wanna trust you.
Mm.
So-
Gusto
so-
nila kanila.
Oo, gusto nila sila lang. So that has to be your mindset, no? You always need to find a win-win solution. You take action, and when it comes to dealing with people, you have to find a win-win solution because at the end of the day, business is about dealing with people. Because who buys from you? People. Who is your employee? People. Who is your supplier? People.
Mm.
So you have, there's a lot of the dimensions you need to you have to understand. But basically yun yung, for me personally, is take action, identify opportunities, always have a win-win mindset.
Mm.
Yun lang. Tapos never give up. Yun pala, never give up.
Never give
Kasi
up.
if I gave up with my first ventures, wala na.
Mm.
Wala na. I have seen entrepreneurs who lost 10 times muna and they win it big.
Mm.
So, Enrique Razon actually from his interview na business for him is doing 9 businesses wrong and then the jackpot sa isa.
Mm.
And that's reality. Personally, that's my personal experience. Ganun siya.
Okay. So, follow-up question. Doon sa never give up, kunwari, meron kang business and you really keep on trying.
Mhm.
Ano yung ang tawag dito? Ano yung boundary na, okay, gi-give up na ako or mag-switch ako ng ibang, ano yung indicator na dapat
Very
pumunta
good
ka na sa
question.
ibang, path?
That's a very good question actually, no? Kasi even I struggle.
Mm-mm.
Even I struggle on when to give up. I know that you never give up, but I gave up a lot
Mm-mm.
also, no?
Mm-mm.
So, siguro ito contextualist, giving up is maybe giving up on the idea, but not
Mm-mm.
giving up on your goal,
Mm-mm.
no? And I would say to decide on when to give up on a certain aspect, you have to understand the technical aspect of the business na. So, it has to be technical. Hindi na siya na feeling mo lang, no?
Mm-mm.
You have to access technicality, and this is where business expertise come in. Fundamentally, business, the science of business is economics.
Mm.
So you have to be really good at economics. It doesn't mean na mga komplikadong formulas sa economics. Basic principles of economics, no? You have to be very good on the basic principles of economics to understand if your business have future or none.
Mm.
So one principle, no, is they call it Porter's 5 forces. So the 5 forces that brings your profitability down. Because at the end of the day, for a business to survive, you have to be profitable. Once you're profitable, it has to be scalable, di ba?
Mm.
So profitable, actually, there are forces that drives profitability. So I think that. So if you have a business and you're doing a lot of things for a very long time and it's not profitable, you ask yourself, did you do all the things that needs to be done? And if you did, maybe it's time to quit, no? Also, you can look at it on a technical side na, is the business profitable in the first place? So how do you evaluate profitability if it can be profitable? Nakalimutan ko na. So there are 5 forces, no? First is the threat of new entrant. If yung business mo madaling gayahin,
Mm.
patay ka. Because competition, simple economics lang yan. Competition drives profits down kasi mag-price war kayo. Kung nagtitinda ka ng turon, profitable, kinabukasan, 3 kapitbahay mo, may tindang turon na rin, lahat kayo talo. That's the problem also with Filipinos, no? So I'm always comparing this with Filipinos with Chinese. So I have a Chinese ancestry, no? So my mom's Chinese. And the difference with Filipinos and Chinese when they do business is for Filipinos, nakita ka nagtuturon, kinabukasan may turon na rin sila. Sa China hindi. Nakita may nagtuturon, bukas may supplier na ng saging, may supplier ng asukal, may supplier ng lumpia. They don't ng lumpia wrapper.
Hindi nila mismo nire-replicate yung...
Yes, they cooperate. So nagtuturon siya. Kung ikaw nagtuturon, tapos ikaw mag-source ng saging, ikaw pa mag-aani ng saging, ikaw mag-aani ng asukal, ikaw mag-aani ng lumpia wrapper, wala ka ng oras para magbenta ng turon. The Chinese businessman recognize that. So what they do, okay, I will make the cheapest banana possible so that his turon will be the cheapest.
Ako yung supplier.
Yes, ako supplier. Pag lumaki siya, saan pa siya kukuha ng saging? Sa akin pa rin. So, asukal. Saan siya asukal? So that's how Chinese works. No? Filipino, hindi, I don't know. I just have to figure out why Filipinos, may barbecue. Barbecue naman ako dito. Barbecue na kayo lahat. And then sa siya, lahat kayo lugi. Very fundamental principle yan ng economics. Competition drives prices down. The only winner in competition are the customers. Because they can buy your turon now very cheap kasi
nag-price war kayo.
Price war kayo, no? So you have to evaluate, is your business very easily copyable? So pag madali siya makaka-copy, malamang mag-price war kayo. Second force that drives profitability is threat of substitute. So for example, nagtitinda ka ng Jollibee. Si Jollibee, di mo naman kailangan ng Jollibee talaga. Pwede ka naman kumain ng Crispy King eh. No? So, it's a substitute. Actually, hindi lang Crispy King. No? Substitute sa Jollibee is marami. Ibang pagkain. Isda is a substitute to fried chicken. So, if your business has a lot of substitute, no, then malaking chance din na ba't ako bibili sa'yo? Itong substitute na lang pwede na to.
Mas mura.
Mas mura, di ba? Kung turon binibenta mo, mas mura yung banana Q, mag-banana Q na lang ako. Substitute sa turon. Saging pa rin din naman yan na may asukal, mayroong wrapper lang. So, merienda, no? In the concept of merienda, mag-banana Q ako. So, that's the second force. Third force is barrier to entry. Mahirap ba gawin yung negosyo mo? For example, construction company. Ang taas ng barrier to entry ng construction company, no? Kasi to be able to build a construction company, you need to have heavy equipment. No? Kasi paano ka magawa? Kaya you need to have capital for payroll ng mga trabahante mo. So kung yung negosyo mo mahirap pasukin dahil ang lalaki ng requirement ng capital, maganda yan kasi walang papasok dyan. Matagal yan na ikaw lang mag-i-enjoy until sa time na may someone na sobrang yaman, kakalibanin ka direct. So fourth force is, nakalimutan yung dalawa, no? So you can search Porter's, may internet ka ba? Porter's 5 forces. May dalawang forces. So you evaluate those forces, no? If those forces, basically kinuha din yan sa microeconomics, no? Microeconomic concept na in-exponent niya. Ayun, existing rivalry. Kung ikaw yung bagong pumasok, meron nang nagdinegosyo niyan, pumasok ka.
Tapos pumasok ka.
So, yun, same concept, magugulo. And then, bargaining power of suppliers. So, bargaining power of suppliers. If yung supplier mo, for example, turon, saging, kaya kang pigain. So, isa lang yung supplier ng saging. So, turon ka, may nag-banana Q doon. Kung kaya kang pigain ng supplier
ng saging.
Sa saging, kasi for example, yung turon mo 10 pesos, di ka na pwede mag-increase ng presyo. Kasi pag nag-increase ka na sa 10 pesos mo, pupunta na sa banana Q. So, 10 pesos ka lang mapipiga. Tapos ngayon, yung saging, nakukuha by before ng 5 pesos lang. So, may tubo ka na 5. Eh ngayon, yung supplier nakita, ako lang yung supplier ng saging. 9 ko nabibenta sa'yo. So, patay ka piso na lang. So, kung masyadong, di ba? Ganun talaga. That's business, no? That's basic economics and human behavior. So, if, ganun talaga. Ikaw lang supplier ng saging. 9 sa nag-banana Q. So, wala kang choice kasi di ka pwede mag-increase. So, yung 5 tubo mo before, piso na lang. So, that's also another force. If your supplier Which is, di ba, may mga example ka ng supplier, pinipiga ka talaga. So, masakit yan. And then,
that's why it's really good to kumbaga widen your network na marami kang options of suppliers.
Exactly.
Na, for example, syempre, pag isa lang kilala mo, tapos
lugi ka kasi ipiting ka.
Ito yung presyo niya, then paano ka magkakaroon ng kumbaga adjustments doon sa pricing mo, na especially sa akin, I offer event packages. And sa event packages kasi tinatry ko na hindi siya masyadong mag-blow up sa price, kasi masyado nang grabe naman yan. Kunwari, grabe 1 million. So, di ba,
lilipat na yung customer mo.
So, tinatry ko na yung medyo kaya pa na presyo. But of course, doon sa prices ng suppliers, meron naman akong talagang standard fees nila. And yung standard fees, yun na nga, depende na yun sa supplier. Kasi may suppliers talaga na mura, especially kung medyo amateur pa, which is sinasabi ko din naman sa mga customers. Like, I have different categories for events packages. Ito, budget. Ito, classic. Ito, platinum. Meaning, kung budget, meaning yung budget, kaya siya mura kasi aside sa konti lang yung suppliers na nandyan, kasi ayaw, yung ibang mga like civil wedding, ayaw naman nila yung sobrang daming mga suppliers. Yung mga essentials lang. Pero yung isang nagda-drive sa budget is yung kumbaga pricing ng supplier. Pag gusto mong mura or budget talaga, then you will afford, kumbaga more likely mga amateur pa compared sa pag platinum ang kinuha mo, aside sa all in na yan, lahat na, kahit yung pagkain nyo sa kami na, yung quality din ng suppliers, mga A-lister experience. So different pricing sa suppliers. Depende na lang talaga sa pag-uusap nyo, kung kunwari itong package na to, ito yung price range ng package for this certain supplier. So magandang marami kang kausap na supplier para mahahanap mo kung sino yung mag-fit sa budget. As long as lahat yan, for me, ang requirement ko to be may supplier para sa packages. Kasi ang hindi naiintindihan ng iba, kasi outsourcing kasi yan.
Exactly.
'Di ba? Sa akin manggagaling yung package, and i-outsource ko sa different suppliers. And maghahanap ako depende sa need ng client, na importante lang sa akin na requirement is dapat nakatrabaho ko na. Kasi hindi ko pwedeng gawing part ng package ko na hindi ko pa siya naka-work, kasi baka ganun pala. Siyempre, lahat ng sisi is sa akin. Kaya nga gumawa na lang din ako ng package, because I have experience din sa events na kahit hindi ko technically kasalanan, like kino-ordinate, ako ang coordinator, kino-ordinate ko siya. I did my job, pero pag may pumapalpak, palagi pa rin, coordinator ka, ganito, okay. Lahat pala kasalanan ko. So, one thing na nag-scale up ako is, as, before na event planner and coordinator lang ako, nag-expand na ako, packages na yung ina-offer ko. Pero yun, nagre-require yun talaga ng very, kumbaga, yung nagre-require yun ng magandang relationship talaga sa suppliers. That's why, yung iba, parang meron akong nadidinig minsan na may mga tampo-tampo. Pero sa akin kasi, it's really important na yung supplier ko is may magandang relationship sa amin.
Very important actually.
Parang siguro naisip nila, kasi ganito, may baka may agreement kami na kung ano-ano. Hindi lang naman yung pera-pera. For me, the most important thing is yung relationship, na pagdating sa events, pag magka-problema, sino ba yung team mo na pinaka makakatulong sa'yo? Kasi may nakakatrabaho kami na nakakadagdag ng stress. Which is, yun yung ayaw ko.
Sayang
Syempre,
oras.
super, ano pa naman kami, praning pa naman kami kasi hindi kami basta chill-chill lang. We take events really seriously. So, yun. So, yun yung isa sa mga, kumbaga, lessons applying to this talk na podcast natin na dapat importante yung network talaga.
Yeah, exactly, no? Kasi, ayan, it drives your profitability, it dictates your profitability, yung mga ano na yan. And because because of that impact that you mentioned, no? Yung impact niya sa'yo, yan din yung isang hindi mostly napapansin ng mga businessmen, no? Na nagsisimula. So in marketing, we have the 5 C's. So when you make a business plan, you start with the 5 C's actually. That's you have to understand really the 5 C's. So ano yung 5 C's na yun? The 5 C's is, number 1 is your company. So if you are an entrepreneur, it's yourself. You understand. Ano ba yung capabilities mo? Ano ba yung kaya mo hanggang saan? No? Second thing that you need to understand is your customer. Yung ulit-ulit ko kanina pa, no? So, customer, what do they want? Ano ba yung gusto nila after, before, during, no? Third is the context, no? So, context means paano ba nag-work yung customer mo, ikaw, and then yung buong business, yung industry ba nag-work. Collaborators is everything from supplier, from government, from mayor, from police, kasi
lahat ng connection na kailangan mo.
Exactly. Very important yan sa business because it will dictate your profitability no, and it will make or break your business. So tama yan nabanggit mo. So kailangan tandaan talaga yan. So if you study the 5 C's, that's when you will come up or you can map now the value chain. Ano yung value chain? Because for example, if may business ka ng what do you call this? Ng palayan, hindi mo isipin palayan lang. Isipin mo kung paano bibenta yung palay, paano i-mill, and at the same time, backward sa value chain, yung fertilizer, yung palay mismo tatanim mo, yung supplier ng kalabaw, etc. So sa end mo naman, you have to understand the value chain. So your suppliers, ikaw, coordinator, anong layer pa ba, yung events owner, yung client. Tapos, apart from client, yung mga magulang ng client. Yung pamilya, part yan ng value chain, no? And the more you get hold of the part of the value chain, the more profit you will get. So if you're doing events, no, in your case, events, and then you do some part of na ginagawa ng supplier, do it on your own, you can get more profit. That's the basic science of business, no? So that's why si Jollibee don't outsource their fried chicken. They have a very huge factory. They do the palabok, the fried chicken, everything, the sandwich.
May farm sila.
Yes. May partnership sila. Diyan papasok. Kasi di na nila kaya gawin yung pagpa-farm. Kasi focus sila na lang dito sa pag-marinate ng manok.
Okay.
So, may partnership na sila siguro sa subok nilang partnership. And they can dictate, no? Kasi, sige, ikaw supplier ka, ayaw mo, ilang milyong manok yung order ko per day, gusto mo mawala yun. So basically, business at the scale is really evaluating the power, no? The power of the players. Can you dictate? If not, look, if kaya ka diktahan ng other players, then problematic business yan because you will not be profitable. Kasi lagi kang mag-a-adapt. So at the end of the day, you need to find a way wherein you can dictate. Na ma-corner mo sila, no? Sounds monopolistic, pero that's business eh. Technically, the goal of businessman is to really exploit that somehow monopolistic situation, no? Na ma-monopolize mo, makapag-dictate ka talaga sa profits mo, sa price mo. So ganun siya. So that's also another growth strategy. You integrate vertically or horizontally, no? So ganun siya.
Another question is, personally, how do you manage your wealth? For example, of how many streams of income, paano ba yung, especially now you're married, paano ba talaga yung management niyan?
Actually, the hardest part is going from 0 to 100,000 and then from 100,000 to 1 million. That's the hardest part, no? For me kasi, from 0 to 1 million, I started working at 20 years old. I earned my first million at 27, no? So, 7 years. The next millions after that, halos 2 years lang. So, actually, in a year, halos more than 3-4 times na yung 1 million na yan, no? So sinasabi din yan ng ibang businessmen, no, na it's the hardest really is for the first few millions kasi it took me 7 years and the rest taon lang, minsan buwan lang, no? So parang phases din yan. In each phases you need to change your mindset, no? So you have to shift from ngayon kasi although entrepreneur pa rin ako, but I would suggest that 50% of my time I'm doing entrepreneurial things, but for 50% of my time as an investor. Those are two different things. Investors are very entirely different from entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs build and operate businesses. Investors identify opportunities and put money there and wait for it to grow. No.
And pray for it.
Yeah, pray. Ganon yung investors, no. So
not to burn.
Na hindi malugi. Two entirely different things. And I think you can be just simple investors, no. Simple investors, anyone can be simple investors. And there are professional investors, which yung professional investors kasi is they do investing as a living. So if you are someone, no, na walang background sa investors, sa investment, wag ka nang mangarap na maging professional investor kasi day job nila yan, no. Araw-araw ginagawa nila yan. So you can be a simple investor. So simple investor is mamaya tuturo kung paano maging simple investor kung wala kang time. But you can be a professional investor on your own because sa ngayon everything is in YouTube, everything is in even sa TikTok nga may mga ano na doon, 'di ba? May mga business advice. Actually, wala akong TikTok, no, pero nasa Facebook din naman pinapost nila. So, says about my age, no. So, so point is, from gaining my first million, my mindset really is finding that something that will bring me that first million. So, it's a mixture of my income from my job before. So, after nag-ano ko sa inipon ko yan, ng trabaho ko. And at the same time, building yung consulting business ko. So, nakadagdag yun to earn my first million, no? So, while doing so, I was earning money and at the same time building my skills. Actually, that's also the advice that I wanna give, no? For those of you, especially sa 20s pa lang, focus on building skills, not the money, because money will just follow. Focus on really building the skills. Building the skills and most importantly, selling, Selling is very important. You have to sell yourself, especially if your brand is yourself. You must know how to sell. And you build that skills, and if makabisado mo yan by the 30s, 40s, money will just follow. Personally, kasi someone na may edad na rin naman ako, feeling ko kasi minsan 20 lang ako, So nakalimutan mo, 32 na pala. So the mindset is find really that something na can build the first million. Once you build that first million, the reason madali na yung the rest is because along the way, while building your first million, you build skills, you meet people, you understand things, you gain knowledge, and you also gain capital. Habang lumalaki yung capital mo, makakapagsugal ka ng mas malaki. So kung let's say may
and hindi na marami yung lugi kasi you learn from your mistakes na.
So the point is the journey is more important than the 1 million itself. No? The journey is more important than the 1 million itself.
But can you give us like a breakdown, like kung financial literacy to, wealth 101. Kunwari, building your wealth from 0 to 100 for 7 years. Ano yung fina-follow mo na principle? Like for example, 50% expenses yon, like utilities. Meron ka bang savings?
Yeah, exactly. Oo, syempre. When you are starting out, the first million, you only spend on needs,
needs
not
lang
wants.
Talaga.
So you have to identify what's your needs and wants. Needs is something that you cannot survive without. Wants is something na okay, Starbucks or kape.
So tinipid mo talaga muna ang sarili
grabe.
mo?
Tinipid ko talaga. I mean, for one, hindi naman kasi I'm not a very social person, so walang problem sa akin. But clothes, I only bought clothes na I can earn money. You have to treat things as an investment, no? So clothes is an investment because people respond to how well you're dressed. So yung main source, sabi ko before, is employment. Therefore, I invested on my employment clothes. Medyo baduy kasi habang bata ka, yung taste mo nag-evolve, no? So i-stock nyo ko sa Facebook, baduy yung before. Tsaka yun lang yung kaya ko, di ba? Budgets, yun lang kaya ko. But at that point, I think of it as yun na yung halos the best ko na yun, no?
Yun na yung pinakaluho mo.
Yeah, so
hanggang
hindi
doon
siya
lang.
luho, investment. Treat as an investment. Kasi doon ako kumikita sa employment so you invest.
Okay.
But the rest, walang Starbucks, walang ano.
So, paano kung may gala-gala ganon? Hindi masyado.
Wala.
Libre.
Wala.
Papalibre tayo.
Palibre ako. Kapalan na lang ng mukha. Papalibre ako. Palibre talaga. So, kung kaya mo palibre ka. Kasi every now and then naman, you should spend naman. Mababaliw ka rin naman kung hindi ka rin. Pero don't make it as a lifestyle. The problem kasi with a lot of people is, napansin ko, walang pera. Kung sino pa yung walang pera, sila pa yung maya-maya, ano-ano yung damit, di ba? So,
deserve ko to.
Deserve ko to. So, pero kanya-kanya naman. The point is, as long as you're happy. Kasi not everyone naman wants to be rich or wants to have financial freedom, no?
Pero for
I'm
those...
not against them. As long as you're happy, no problem. I'm happy with you too, no? But if you're saying to me na, hey, bakit mahirap pa rin ako, gusto ko yumaman, tingnan mo sarili mo, if magastos ka, di ka talaga makakaipon, no? So, savings talaga. It's about saving.
In order to build your wealth from zero to your first million,
discipline.
Sacrifices talaga.
Discipline,
Dyan talaga yung...
Discipline. Once sanay ka na sa disiplina na yan, it's gonna be easy once you're on that, Because there are also a lot of rich people na yumaman sila bigla. Yung successful talaga, yung business nila nag-boom, nawala din lahat. Because they were not able to build that discipline They were not able to shift from that mindset of entrepreneurial mindset to become an investor to build your wealth. Kasi may phases yan. You build your wealth. Once you are able to build your wealth, you defend na hindi yan maubos. Kasi ang tempting na ubusin mo diba? So that's why these big institutions, they hire wealth management, they allocate money everywhere in the banks, etc. So ganun.
So, from your first million naman, going to your, 100 millions.
Di
ano
naman,
yung
wala
parang,
naman 100 million.
99. So, paano naman yung pag-manage nun and
ano.
pag-scale up? Ano nang principle ng sinusunod mo?
Okay, so when you want to scale business, I think if you have that level of wealth, I would say you need to understand accounting. You have to study accounting. So assets, liabilities, and of course equity. Because at that level of wealth, mahirap mo na yan matrack. Because wealth kasi it's not cash. It's not all cash, no? So you have assets.
May
a lot of it is
investments,
assets.
may
Investments,
ganito.
assets, real estate, different kinds of assets, no? So you have to
May
learn
accounting
of
officers ka na.
No, I do accounting myself because I know naman. We were taught in AIM, no? But my business is of accountants, no? But for my personal wealth, I do my bookkeeping. I do my accounting. So I have my books.
When you say bookkeeping, saang bookkeeping? Sa business lang or
Sa personal okay.
expenses? Do you track your
Personal
expenses?
wealth, okay. The first rule kasi it is one of the first rules of accounting, no, na you have to separate personal and the business. So businesses, they have their own books, no. I have my own books. What I mean by I have my own books is andun recorded yung assets na directly nakapangalan sa akin. And then yung syempre cash nandito, equities, etc., utang ko, personal utang. So may book ako sarili ko. No? You start with that recording, very important. Kasi once things moves, it's hard to keep track. So it's hard to keep track, no? So you have to understand. You have to know accounting. After you have to know accounting. The next is you have to, kasi nasa investing phase na tayo. You have to understand the fundamental principles of finance, which is mamaya sa investment. One most important thing that you need to understand is inflation. Inflation is very important because what does inflation means? Basically, inflation is a tax. Parang siyang tax na binabawasan yung value ng pera mo per year. Common diba sa mga magulang natin, ay Diyos ko, yung galunggong dati, 25 cents lang.
Ngayon
yung galunggong 500 na. It's because of inflation. So kung yung may 500 ka before, yung value nun ngayon, milyonaryo na. Pero kung 500 mo hindi mo in-invest, yung 500 mo noon, wala na siyang value ngayon because of inflation. So the very first rule is you have to beat inflation. And how can you do that? You cannot do that by putting your money on the banks as a regular savings. Kaya pero magkano lang naman yung interest ng banks. So there are a lot of strategies. Hence, pupunta na tayo dun sa mga investment vehicles. So how do you invest? Technically, if you have money, you have to know how to invest. So there are a lot of investment vehicles. So i-cut short lang natin, no? The safest is cash. You store your cash. The problem with cash is inflation nga. So, for example, meron ka ngayong, let's say, 100 million. 100 million, nilagay mo sa baul. By 20 years, yung value niyan, relatively, baka 80 million na lang. Wala ka ng 20 million. So, ano yung option mo? So, the safest investment is time deposit and actually bonds, government bonds sa US, but hindi naman lahat nakaka-access sa bonds, no? So, what is bonds is something na nangungutang yung government natin or government ng US. Bibigay mo pera mo sa kanila, tapos babayaran kanila ng interest per
Guaranteed ba yun?
Yeah, guaranteed for bonds. So if inflation is around 6%, tapos mag-offer sila ng 7%, may gain ka pa na 1%. So that's
at least tumubo
ka na 1%. That's the safest bond. And also that's the fundamental rule of finance, no? Isa lang naman. Risk is equal return. High risk, high return. Low risk, low return. If you see an investment na yung returns tigo 100% nagdodoble, sigurado high risk yan. You have to be ready na kung nadodoble pera mo, you have to be ready na madodoble pababa. So it's an up and down. So risk is up and down. So kung nadodoble pataas, madodoble din yan pababa. No. So when you're entering investment, you have to really do a research and evaluate na is this a worth it investment? No. And mamaya natin i-discuss on how to decide, no. Let's identify muna ano yung options mo. As a simple investor lang, not a professional investor. So bonds, pwede yan, or time deposit sa bank, yan yung mga safest, pero sobrang konti ng returns.
At saka time deposit kasi may required months to year yan na hindi mo talaga siya gagalawin.
That's why you have also to allocate how much cash ititira mo. Hindi pwedeng lahat ng cash mo ilalagay mo doon. So may nakatira ka for emergency fund.
Bayad sa kuryente. Ay, kukunin ko na lang pala, sorry.
May naka-time deposit. So meron ka laging safety net, may emergency fund ka, no? So
I always say doon sa mga naging participants doon sa mga ginagawa naming financial literacy, you should have two savings. Yung isa, yung savings na pwede mong kunwari, medyo madelay yung sweldo mo. Yung, alam mo yun, may kukunin ka lang na pambayad na kuryente, mga small amounts. And then you have your emergency savings talaga. Para dun na sa, parang for literal na emergency la talaga. Na pag-iipunan. 6 months your salary, di ba? Yun
totally
yung
agree.
Emergency savings.
It can be anything naman to everyone, but it's importante may savings ka na mabilis, na cold cash talaga, nakatago sa baul o saan man, sa wallet mo.
Another thing is, I also discovered merong mga time deposits and savings yung co-op na nag-offer din ng interest.
Kung maganda yung
so pwede din yun.
Diba?
We have sa Northern Samar, NSDWCC and AMWEC. So, I'm not sure kung tama ako, pero parang naglalaro sila between 1 to 2%.
Per?
Ano yun? Per annum.
Per annum. Lugi kasi inflation natin, 6%. Actually, ngayon, retail inflation, 2% na lang. But average inflation ng Philippines is like 6%. You need to find a vehicle that will beat 6% at least. So doon tayo mag-move sa other, sa other. Pero yeah, you have an option.
Ay, wait lang. Savings yon, yung time deposit pala, ang alam ko sa Amwec, because we tried parang last year, 10% pala.
Ayun, mataas yun. Mataas. Okay. So,
pero 1 year, hindi mo siya...
Yeah, okay lang. The global benchmark for average return is 10%. If you have an investment that will beat 10%, it's a good investment. But, if you're beating 10%, it's high risk na halos considerably high risk na yan. Kasi that's the global average eh. S&P 500, no? 10% yung return.
Mm-mm.
So, maka 10% ka lang, it basically, nagwe-perform ka na average globally. Mga professional investors yan, ha? So, kung if Amowick is giving you 10%, and halos guaranteed, Amowick is still there. Then why not? Actually,
Marami kasi silang isang din, I think isang need i-consider din when you're investing. Since merong nilalatag si Carlo na iba-ibang mga investment na mga options. Ang kailangan nyo din malaman dyan is when you're presented an opportunity to invest, alamin nyo kung saan ginagamit yung pera.
Exactly.
Kasi for example, Amwec is matagal na siyang cooperative and trusted. And pag sinabing ganyan, for example, guaranteed 10% time deposit, hindi ka din magdududa because why? Kaya nilang, yung mga perang nilalagay sa kanila, they use it. Marami kasi silang they have gas station, they have yung mga lending nila, marami silang businesses, pati real estate meron, na alam mo na, okay, so talagang kaya nilang ibigay yung mga promised returns ng
exactly.
para sa doon sa mga
Bukan si Amowick,
members.
andun yung Amowick, di ba, sa Alin? May pagreklamuhan ka pag
Oo,
niloko ka.
at saka marami na doon silang sa offices. So yun, another option is aside sa
Amowick ka pa
bank,
naman.
co-op,
Wala bang Amowick?
Uy, pero try mo. May mga ka, di ba? Millions. Lagay ka doon. 10%
Wala naman.
din
1 million likes.
Tapos, ano pa ba yung pwede na sa mga investment?
Yeah, so mag-move later on, no? Pero ito rin yung advice ko, no, for investment. In reality, hindi ka yayaman sa investment. Investment, as in, especially if you're a regular investor lang, not a professional investor. Si Warren Buffett sobrang yaman. At some point siya pinakamayaman sa buong mundo. But through stock investing lang. So, bihira yung mga ganun, no? Mahirap yumaman sa investing, especially if you're a regular investor lang. Regular investing is really to protect your wealth and somehow have growth na mas malaki kaysa inflation or market. If you wanna build talaga yung sinasabi ko na from 0 to 1 million, it has to be a mixture of your salary and something you do aside from your salary. No? And gaining wealth takes time. No? Ako, I mean, 27, so 7 to 8 years, my first million, no? And so, tuloy-tuloy na yan. So, it takes time. If you're looking at something na 2 months, 3 months, or 1 year, mayaman ka na, then you're not. Kasi ito lang sinasabi ko lagi, if these people have this formula, ba't ko pa ipagsasabi? Siguro kung ako merong ganun, magpupunta pa ako dito o pa-interview sa'yo. Wala na, yun na lang. Nag-invest na lang ako sa sarili ko, di ba? So you have to think of that, no? So, those are the things that you need to consider when investing, no? Hindi siya way para yumaman. That's why the topic is separated, no? Wealth building and wealth growing. How to build first and then grow. Using investing. Build by becoming very entrepreneurial and grow by becoming an investor. No? So going back to investment vehicles, pupunta na tayo sa medyo ma-action na, no? So mga safe muna. Mas complex na. Third, ito which is one of my favorite is real estate. Right now sa portfolio ko, no, with my total assets, and then not just total assets, liquid assets lang. From my liquid assets, na-shock din ako ba't ganito, hindi ko naisip na ganito. Nasa 60% real estate. Nasa 60% ko yung real estate. Na-shock din ako nung tinanong ko nung bago ako po umuwi from Manila. Because in reality, sa totoo lang, no, mahirap maganap ng mapag-i-investan. It's very hard to, yan yung na-realize ko, it's very hard to especially kung alanganin din yung kasi it's either very small capital yung kailangan or very big capital. Yung problema, nasa gitna ako. Alanganin. So, nasa point ako ngayon na nag-iipon lang ng capital para at least makapasok ako doon sa mas malaking vehicles, no? Kasi sa totoo lang, napapagod na ako maging entrepreneur kasi nakakapagod talaga. It's very tiring, no? So, I'm more focusing on investing na right now. And it's hard to find a worthwhile investment, no? So, nashock ako dahil yung pera ko, hindi ko pwedeng iwan puro cash. 60% real estate. Okay, real estate 60%. So, what's good thing with real estate? So technically, real estate is a very good money storage value that will protect you from inflation. Because
kasi
the worst, nag-appreciate. Yeah. The worst thing that can happen to real estate is mabenta mo siya at the same price. But bihira yun, mostly nag-appreciate. No? So if may nakita kayo dyan na hulugan na lupa, basta klarado man lang yung titling, kunin nyo. Kung ma-extra man lang kayo, it's another investment. Lupa. Ang daming yumaman dahil sa lupa lang.
Ano yung mga, can I ask, ano yung mga properties na like condo or beach, something?
So here in Northern Samar, no, I have a couple of beach fronts, no? And soon I will develop, sana maging successful. And then in Manila, I have 2 properties in Rockwell. One is a lot, no, and one is a condo. And then we live now in a condo, no, but we don't live in Rockwell kasi masyadong expensive. So
pero ano yun, pinapa-rent nyo? Yung condo?
Yung isang condo, pinapa-rent, tas the one we're living in. And then, we have another property in Ayala. So, mostly residential. Actually, may problem din pala, no? Wala akong commercial. Siguro yung beachfront lang yung commercial. So I really need to change pala may So, hindi ko natutukan actually. Kasi ang hirap maghanap ng opportunity.
Pero, ang ganda ng aside dun sa residential, syempre, nag-appreciate din naman yung property. Pero, ang isang pangarap ko din na i-venture, yun nga lang kasi kailangan capital na malaki. Ang ganda kasi ng rental talaga. Di ba?
Exactly.
The best yun.
Commercial rental, the best for me. Buhay ka na dyan. May 10 ka lang na building dyan. Buhay ka dyan. Look at SM. Saan ba yumaman sa SM? Sa rental naman ng retail eh. Doon yumaman sa SM, sa malls. What is the business model of mall? Rental. So, rental is a very good business. Diyan lumaki sa SM. So, actually, na-realize ko ngayon, no? Ba't wala akong commercial space?
Ma-realization ka. Hindi, meron
space.
ka yung sa gagawin nating
But it's not like SM na. Si SM kasi...
Event na ba yun? Next year, no?
Hopefully, next year, may capital pang develop, no? So, tingnan natin. Let's see.
Pero magkakaroon ka din yan, for sure.
Hopefully, no? Pag hindi nalugi, anyway. And then the fourth, no, ito rin yung in-advocate ko. Ito lang yung dalawang position ko actually is stocks. PH equities, no. So, to be safe in investing in stocks, you have to coordinate with a stockbroker. Easily, banks. The best na broker is banks kasi may relationship manager that will guide you, no. Punta ka lang for me, I use BPI personally. Everything all of my cash is in BPI, no? Even my loans, no? Nasa BPI. Loans, important yan. You need to know how to use leverage, no? So, leverage is very important. Hindi ka rin lalaki ng mabilis kung wala kang loans. So, leverage is important. But there's a science to that on how much loan you can take up. But another topic siguro, another time. Next year. So, doon sa BPI, kung gusto nyo mag-start sa stock market, punta kayo sa BPI or BDO, mayroon naman dyan sa Katarman. Then, you ask how can I start investing in the stock market? The relationship manager will teach you. You can start as low as 2,000. I started investing after graduation, no, mga working 6 months down the road. It's 5,000. Nag-start lang ako 5,000. And then, di ko yan tinigilan. Dagdag lang, 5,000.
Pero paano yun? Tuturuan ka kung paano mag-pindot-pindot, etc.? Or
very, very intuitive siya, no? Buy and sell lang naman siya eh. But the most important thing is you have to understand how the stock market works, no? Oh, hello, welcome. Welcome back!
Welcome back! Welcome to North America.
Welcome to Northern Samar, where your electricity is
a surprise.
Surprising you with brownouts. Anyway, so with these stocks, no, there are, syempre, and everything that you do, no, especially in making money, there's technical side to it. So you have to put time and effort to understand the technical side, which is in this case, trading, know how to buy, how to sell, and understanding what you are buying and what you are selling. But I strongly advocate because it's not hard to understand. It's very easy and there are a lot of materials out there, no? So sa stock market, I started 5,000, 20,000, ilang thousand. So right now,
ilan na yung value ng ng nasa sa stocks mo? Secret. Feeling ko sobrang laki kaya ayaw niyang sabihin. Baka ma-hold up siya.
Hindi naman sobra, but But multi-million. I'm managing
okay.
multi-million on my stock portfolio, no.
Okay. How many companies na pinag-investan mo?
Marami.
And can you give us an idea kung anong mga magagandang stocks?
Yeah, sige. So, okay, sa stock market mo na, you have to understand, how the stock market works and what are you really buying. So, the thing with stocks, that's why I want people to invest in stocks. So, ako personally, portfolio ko is real estate. 60% of my portfolio is real estate. Sa liquid assets, X% is stocks and cash. And then, actually, loans, nagpapautang ako. Hindi na nagpapautang ko nagarapal kasi the interest rate here in Northern Summer is too high. So, sabi ko,
sino yung
kawawa
pinapautang
naman.
mo sa Manila?
Family.
Okay.
Dito sa So, sabi ko, instead yung family ko mangutang sa labas. Sa akin na lang. At a very low interest rate. So, exclusive lang sa family namin. No? So, yan lang yung pinag-investan ko. Walang fancy anything na crypto whatsoever.
Okay.
Walang fancy basic. Lupa, stocks. Yung medyo complicated lang dyan, stocks. Okay. So which we will tackle now, no? Sorry. So with stocks, what are you really buying? So when you are buying a stock, it means that you are buying ownership of a company. So let's take for example Jollibee. Si Jollibee kasi is, we know, everyone knows Jollibee, no? If you buy one share ng Jollibee, basically you own one share of Jollibee. So, assuming Jollibee only has 100 shares, and bumili ka ng one share, ibig sabihin you own 1% of Jollibee. No? So, paano kumikita yung stocks? Two ways on how you earn stocks. One is dividend. So, paano? So, if you own 1% of Jollibee, o sige, 5% na lang. So, you own 5 stocks of Jollibee. Assuming that Jollibee has 100 stocks, so 5 over 100 is 5%. No? So it means you own 5% of Jollibee. Tapos si Jollibee nag-declare this month ng dividends. So what is dividends? Ito yung excess income nila na gusto nila ibigay sa investors, sa owners. So let's say may excess income si Jollibee na 1 million, no? At gusto nila ibigay as dividends. So yung 1 million na yun, pag binigay nila sa investors, since you own 5%, it means you own 5% of that 1 million. Which is, 50,000. No? 50,000. So sa dividends pa lang, kumikita ka na. Every quarter yun. Actually, pakita ko nga sa'yo yung dividends.
But ano yung pagkakaiba ng dividends tsaka yung sa mismong, di ba, kung maglalaro ka ng stock buy and sell?
Yan yung sinasabi ko. When you are doing stocks, there are two types of stock investors. You have here the trader, which is yung buy and sell, and you have the investors like us.
Yung investor yung sa dividend lang.
Buy and hold. Because there are two ways to gain from a stock. One is dividend. Second is what we call the capital gains or the capital appreciation. If nabili mo si Jollibee at 1 peso per stock, and then biglang si Jollibee tumamba, sinerte lumaki kita, posible yung valuation niya lumaki. So there's a science on how companies are valuated. But basically that's it. If investors see Jollibee as baka let's say nalugi si McDo sa Pilipinas. Tapos binili ni Jollibee yung lahat ng McDonald's. Ibig sabihin, nag-times 2 kaagad yung size ni Jollibee. It's a good news. It will push the price of Jollibee. Diyan yung sinasabi mong trading, price fluctuation. So nabili mo ng piso, after 10 years, 5 na per price yung Jollibee. So nag-appreciate ka ng 4 pesos. So that's your capital appreciation. So imagine if you just held for 10 years. Sa 10 years, kumita ka na ng dividends per quarter yon or per annum. From the dividends na kinita mo, kung nag-appreciate pa yung value ni Jollibee, kumita ka pa sa capital depreciation pag binenta mo.
Pag binenta mo, sinong bibili nun?
Kung sino man sa other end ng market.
Okay. Basta i-click mo lang na ibebenta mo, parang ganun.
Yes, ganun lang. Ito yung mga, pakita ko siya mga dividends. Merong maliliit lang, merong malalaki. So, eto na, tita. Ayan. Ayan. So, puro dividend yan sa stocks na own ko. So, nag-message na lang yan, na-receive ka, 15,000 worth of dividends. So, sa biggest stock portfolio is BDO. Minsan, nakakakuha ko 30,000 as dividends lang.
Isa sa mga magagandang blue chip na companies.
Yeah, depende no kasi may strategy din diyan. So I only invest in companies that I know that will be there for the long time. And there are also, of course, may technical aspect of it. But as an easy way to understand this is if you are buying a Philippine company, no, you are investing in the Philippine economy. So here's my question. If the Philippine economy, kasi di ba sinasabi naman sa mga reports sa TV, the Philippine economy will grow by ganyan, di ba? We will be a middle income country. If the Philippine grows in terms of our economic growth, anong businesses yung pinakaunang mag-benefit sa tingin nyo?
Bank?
Exactly. Hence, my stock portfolio, 60% of my portfolio is in banks. So, I have huge positions in BDO, BPI, Metrobank, all the major banks in the Philippines. 60% yan ang portfolio ko. The rest is who owns the bank. Sino ba nag-own ng bank? The holding companies, no? So, holding companies, who owns BDO? Major shareholder, malaking shareholder ng BDO is SM Investments. So, I also own SM Investments. Indirectly, I own BDO through SM Investments. So, malaki din yung position ko sa portfolio sa holding company. You can research kung sino mga holding company, no? Malalaki. So, Ayala Corporation, owned by the Ayalas, Lopez Group, SM Investments, SMPH, Megawide Holdings. I don't know if it's public, no? So, simple lang.
Pero ano yung mga industries na, kunwari, sample mo na yung banks. Ano yung mga industries na hindi masyadong nagpa-fluctuate? Yun, banks.
It always fluctuates, no? Everything fluctuates because we have this thing what we call the economic cycles. So economic cycles is basically what the economy goes through throughout the years, and it's fairly recorded throughout history na may cycle talaga ng boom, recession, boom, recession, boom, recession. So if you do your research, no, like the 2008 recession, prior to that, the Asian financial crisis, marami. So, cycle siya. It's related to the behavior of people. So, walang stock na volatility proof. But you have to look at it in the long run. That's why you have to bet.
Yung babawi din.
Yeah, you have to bet on the companies that will still be there. Kung gaano kahaba yung investment period mo. Kung 50 years man yan, 30 years, dapat na doon pa rin sila. So, if magregalo kayo sa mga anak nyo, instead of buying them toys, bili kayo stocks worth 1,000 or 2,000. By the time 18 na sila, malaki value niyan. 'Di ba? Wag niyong bilan ng laro. Well, laruan is nagagamit pero wag not so much, no. Or spend a lot on birthday parties. Buy stocks. Malaking ma-realize na 18 years, 20 years. No. So, ganun lang yung philosophy. So, if you wanna go to stock market, punta kayo sa BPI, sa BDO, dyan sa Katarman, patulong kayo sa manager, pwedeng patulong kung paano invest sa stock market. They will teach you.
Pero kung hindi sa bank, meron bang like online
Call
na
Financial,
mga...
I think.
Call Financial. Yung kala Bo
siguro,
Sanchez ba yan? Or...
Di ko alam kung kanino yan eh.
Pero ina-advertise nila yan alam ko.
But for me, the best is banks. Kasi andun na rin savings mo eh. Madali mag-manage ng funds. For example, is mag-liquidate ka, madali may transfer sa mo. So, Union Bank, may Union Bank ba dito sa Pilipinas? Sa Katarman wala.
Wala yata.
Yeah. So, BDO and BPI.
BPI.
And then, sila mismo mag-offer yan ng mga products. No?
Try nga natin.
So, banks are your friends, no? That's also the key, no? You have to be comfortable with talking to the bank managers. No? Kasi they will give you loans, they will offer you products na you can access. So, maging close din kayo sa mga bankers. Cheat code yan.
So, our last topic for this podcast, for those who are curious about investments, gusto din namin ibigay itong topic na to for you to educate kasi medyo marami-rami kaming naririnig na nasa scam. So, Carlo, can you give them advice? Ano ba yung kailangang, kumbaga sa screening process, ano ba yung dapat nilang tignan para ma-avoid nila na ma-scam sila?
Okay, so, ito mas sikat to na sikat na saying from the US. If it's too good to be true, then it is. Kung masyadong maganda yung offer, malaking chance scam yan. No? But, meron kasing may mga legit naman na phenomenal talaga yung return, no? So, you don't disqualify ka agad. So, you always have to be prudent. So, in-explain ko na kanina, first rule is high risk, high return. If you are investing in a high upside investment, you have to be ready with the high downside. Kung nagbibigay sa'yo nga ng doble pataas, doble din yan pababa. So kung nag-invest ka ng 10,000 at nag-20,000 bukas, pwede yan maging zero the next day. So that dapat personally, pag mag-invest ka, ready ka sa mga possibilities na yan. Kasi investment is not a sure thing, no? Technically, there's volatility. There's no investment na guaranteed. Ito pa pala, pag may nagsabi na guaranteed return, sigurado scam yan. Maniwala ka sa akin.
Oo. Pag mataas, tapos guaranteed,
ay, Diyos ko,
kaduda-duda yan.
It's like bullshit. Bullshit talaga yan, di ba?
meron akong ikwento para mas ma-gets nila yung high risk, high return, guaranteed, mga hindi talaga totoong guaranteed. I have a friend na sobrang nabash siya because meron siyang like sabihin natin clothing business tapos nagpa-invest siya. And then parang pinaghahanap na siya kasi nawala siya ganun. Tapos ako kasi binessage ko siya. Sabi ko, "Uy, anong nangyari ganito ganyan?" Sabi niya kasi ang nangyari pala is meron siyang clothing business na super ang dami niyang benta. And then of course, ikaw as business owner, 'di ba parang ang sarap magkapital pag yung cash flow maganda. And then, para magkaroon siya ng more capital, nagpa-invest siya. So, he asked yung mga, ewan ko kung sino, yung iba kasi hindi niya friend yung as in talagang mga recruit na lang na, mag-invest kayo. So, maraming nag-invest sa kanya, may 50K, 30K, 200K. Let's say, almost 1 million na nag-invest sa kanya. And, hindi naman siya talaga scam. Talagang binili niya ng stocks. Kaso lang, humina yung sales niya. And ang naging fault niya kasi, yung promise kasi niya, 20% guaranteed. So sabi ko sa kanya, hindi ka dapat nag-promise ng ganun kataas. Why? Pag maganda yung cash flow, pag maganda yung business, of course, kaya mo yung i-deliver na promise. Pero, ang lahat ng business ay merong kumbaga slow season.
Yeah, exactly.
So, sabi ko, dapat yung pag sinabi mong guaranteed, you know in yourself na kahit yung business mo is matumal.
Amawik 2% lang per month.
Kaya nga dapat kung alam mo yung business mo is dapat itansya mo, okay, kung matumal yung business ko, how much can I give? Kasi pag sabihin mong guaranteed, for better or worse, sabi mo guaranteed So, exactly. That's his mistake talaga. Sabi ko, alam mo, just be honest. Sabihin mo na lang na, kumbaga, yung promise mo is hindi mo alam na ganito pala. Kasi parang hinahanap na siya, parang papatulfo na siya. Pero yun na nga, the lesson is, kayo din, pag may nag-offer sa inyo na sobrang taas ng guaranteed returns, especially guaranteed, kailangan pag-isipan nyo paano niya i-deliver yung promise na guarantee.
Even the biggest companies in the world, no?
Kaya nga, kahit sa stocks, diba?
The only guarantee na meron are bonds.
Yes.
Bonds. And yung guarantees niya, nasa 4% lang, 5%. Per annum,
parang nag-borrow ng money sa iyo.
Exactly. Utang talaga. Bonds is a form of debt, no?
Oo.
So, debt siya na fancy lang siya kasi sinusource mo from multiple people. So, that's why it's bonds. It's a security, no? But it's a form of debt. But you can't find a business worldwide na I will guarantee you 20%. Loko. Kasi kung mag-guarantee, ito what I'm saying is, the global average of returns is 10% lang. If you are guaranteeing 20% and personally liable ka, bibigyan ko na sa lahat ng pera ko.
Oo.
O yan. Bigyan ko 20%, 1 year lang, 20%. Sa akin na. Diba? So, wala talaga. Lugi ka dyan. O, hindi ka naman sa investors, malaking chance na hindi babalik pera mo.
I mean, meron namang mga businesses that earns 20, 30, 40%. Pero, hindi mo pwedeng i-promise yun na ganun kalaki because yung kita mo, yung kung matumal, kung wala kang kita ngayon, 'di ba? Kaya nga ako personally, wala akong employee talaga na as in before I tried to employ one of my assistants na talagang maaasahan. Pero hindi ko talaga kaya in the long run because ang events mismo is meron siyang mga seasons na walang booking. So, ako, okay lang ako may mga iba pa akong racket, pero paano ka magpapasweldo ng 10 to 15K kung walang pumasok, 'di ba? So, you have to understand na before you invest, kailangan yung aralin, yung nature, saan niya kukunin yung ibibigay niyang interest sa'yo. 'Di ba?
Yeah, exactly. And also, kasi it boils down to, for the entrepreneurs naman na nakikinig, to how do you should capitalize your business. The first option should always be debt, no? Kung pwede ka makakautang sa bangko, mangutang ka sa bangko, find low interest. Sobrang hirap mag-raise ng capital from people you don't know kasi it's too risky. Once nasira reputation mo, wala ka na. Diba? So, for me, I never raised capital from my friends, even my friends, or from people I know.
Banks na lang.
Yeah, if I'm short on capital, I find money through my own or raise capital through debt, no? Kasi actually debt is also advisable, no? There's always a healthy level of debt. Actually, you should take debt.
Big promoter ng debt is Robert Kiyosaki. Kasi parang instead of using your own money, use the bank's money.
Yeah, leverage. Kung pwede nga lang pautangin sa'yo lahat ng sa bangko at sobrang lang ng interest.
Parang yung principle is, if you can get a loan, kung hihiram ka ng pera sa bank ng magbabayad ka ng let's say 4%, just make sure na yung business magge-generate siya ng meron siyang more than 4%. Para
example na lang, lupa. Okay, for example, may lupa dyan sa Katarman, may offer. It's being offered at 10 million. So 10 million yung offer sa ng seller. Meron kang yung 10 million. Should you buy it with 10 million? No. Sa banks, when it comes to real estate, willing sila mag-shell out ng 80% ng value ng land. So assuming yung valuation ng land nga is 10 million, no? Mag-shell out ka lang 2 million. And then utahan mo sa bank yung 8 million. Yes, may utang ka with interest. Magkano yung sa collateralized debt ng banks, mababa interest, 6% lang halos. Minsan nga nag 5% lang eh. So 6% per annum on average. Ngayon, may 8 million ka pa na extra. Lalagay mo 2 million, may utang ka na itong 8 million mo ngayon, pwede mo pa ibili ng ibang property. Kumpara kung yung 10 million mo, binuhos mo sa isang property, isa lang, wala ka na. So, paano kung yung magkakatabi, maraming 10 million, so bigyan mo tig 2 million. Well, that's assuming si bank willing pa rin magpautang sa'yo kahit malaki na leverage mo, no? So, anong gagawin mo yun sa 8 million na utang mo sa bangko? Yung lupa na yan, kung inubos mo 10 million mo, wala ka nang magagawa, mag-antay ka na naman ng pera para makapagpatayo ng building. So ngayon, dahil may sukli ka pa sa 10 million mo, may 8 million ka, hindi mo binili yung katabi, yung 8 million mo ngayon, pwede mo ngayon ipatayo as building.
Tapos mag-generate
siya ng yung monthly income ng building, pangbayad mo na ng interest rate and
tapos
capital.
may sukli ka pa.
So, sukli ka pa. By the end ng loan mo in 15 years, nabayaran mo na yung utang mo from the income, may sumobra pang konting tubo, may lupa ka pa.
May lupa. Tama.
So that's how you use leverage. That's very simple yan. But when it comes to acquiring companies, acquiring different kinds of assets, may mga structures. May tinatawag pa nga sa US, leverage buyout, LBOs, no? So the thing with leverage buyout is company, may gusto kong building company. Hindi ko yung bibilhin na company using my cash. Yung bibilhin ko na company, maglo-loan sa bangko. Tapos yung loan ng company na yan sa bangko, yun na yung pambili ko. Technically wala akong levy. So may mga ganong structures, no? So debt is a very useful instrument when used the right way. Yung problem kasi mostly maglo-loan, bibili ng motor, di naman kailangan yung motor.
Ang painful sa atin is we only use debt, number 1, to consume, may bibilhin, mga person. Number 2, ang pinaka mas masakit is kailangan na lang natin talagang mangutang kasi medical emergencies.
Actually, that's also the next thing that I wanna tackle sa Northern Samar. Guys, buy insurance, health insurance especially.
Yes.
Health insurance is ako yung health insurance ko 2. No.
Kasi
Health insurance
dapat
is
may
very
life
important.
insurance, may
Yeah.
hospitalization
Is
din.
hospitalization. Life, not so much depende kasi the thing with life is ayaw mo ng problema yung mga maiiwan eh.
Mm-mm.
But for me, the very most important is health insurance kasi magagamit mo talaga yan personally.
Mm-mm.
Well, sadly, PhilHealth walang kwenta. Sadly, no? So, if may extra ka man lang, kaysa ipunin mo, i-save mo as savings, ibili mo na ng health insurance. Ako, I personally advocate health insurance. May mga offer naman na medyo kaya per annum, parang 20,000 per annum, meron ata eh.
Especially, yung i-consider nyo yung health insurance because the younger you are, mas mura pa siya. And mahirap kasi pag ma-diagnose ka na ng mga kung ano-anong illness.
Wala na, uninsurable ka na.
Oo, mahirap ka ng kahit mas malaking premium or amount yung kaya mo nang ibigay basta ma-insure ka lang, hindi na natatanggapin.
Wait lang, hindi to insurance, baka sabihin nyo, nagbebenta ko na yun. Pero personally, as people who don't have professional background, I think VUL is a good investment because may coverage ka na as form of investment pa siya. Personally, wala akong VUL because I know how to invest naman kasi I invest professionally, no? So I can have better returns than VUL or kahit at Parman. And personally, may insurance na ako because sa company na I own, mayroon ako. Sa mga clients ko rin, binibigyan ako insurance. So technically, ang dami kong insurance. So di ka na ako bibili ng insurance. And this is not an insurance plug, no? But if you have extra, at the minimum, health insurance. Second, if may extra ka pa, VUL. Huwag kayong kumuha ng regular insurance lang na life insurance lang kasi di nyo patay na kayo pag magamit. VUL kasi may returns, di ba? Parang siyang investment. I'm not
Kasi
mistaken.
yung traditional insurance, ano lang siya. As in,
namatay ka, yun na yun.
yung benefit niya talaga is for your family na iiwan mo. But if you choose VUL, ano siya mixture siya ng life insurance,
An investment.
meaning death benefit, and may living benefit. Ibig sabihin sa living benefit is, habang buhay ka pa, may benefit siya because merong part doon sa binabayaran mo na napupunta din naman sa sa investment.
Yeah, sige. So tama na sa insurance. Baka isipin nila, plug ka na insurance. Diba?
Hindi nga, basta disclaimer, when you invest talaga, kahit sa insurance man yan, VUL, or sa stocks, lahat yan, hindi yan guaranteed.
Exactly.
Yung guaranteed lang is, depende doon sa, kunwari, kung bonds, di ba? Yung sa co-op.
Actually, kahit bonds hindi, the reason may interest, yan yung reason ng interest, no? Kasi, although guaranteed, hindi siya 100% guaranteed. Interest rate corresponds to the probability na mag-guarantee yung pera. The reason yung government bonds, siya pinakamababa return, 3%, no? 2 to 3%, is siya yung pinakamalugi na lahat ng kumpanya, yung gobyerno hindi malulugi. So, pero may chance na malugi gobyerno. Sobrang liit. So, that's my method. Kasi kung guaranteed, ba't kita bibigyan ng interest? Kung guaranteed yan, babalik ko sa'yo na walang interest. No? Yan yung mechanisms ng interest rates, no? So,
kasi may chance talaga.
May chance talaga. That's why that's why may gain ka kasi may chance na malugi ka rin, no?
Pero because
walang free money. Actually yan sa finance, no? There's no free lunch. Walang free money, di ka makahanap ng free money. It's either you gain money from risking, willing to lose, or by creating or adding value. No? As an employee, you create value by working, by giving your time. As an entrepreneur, by providing services, creating products. So, that's the only way you create money. Hindi ka pwede mag-create ng money from thin air. Well, unless politician, ka, sa gobyerno ka. I don't know paano sila nakapag-create ng ganong pera, di ba? So, it's up to you, di ba?
It's up to you. So, again, doon sa mga nanonood sa gustong yumaman or gustong ma-maintain lang na maayos yung finances nila, ano yung mga last tips mo sa mga taga Northern Samar?
Yeah. Ako personally kasi, I don't hindi ko pinangarap maging mayaman, no. I just want a financial freedom, basically. Gusto ko lang ng matiwasay na buhay na wala akong masyadong maiisip, no. Iniisip na pag may problem, may problem sa family, nakakatulong ako, personal, nakapag-travel naman. I mean, happy ako nakapag-travel ako, but up to that, okay na ako, no? And the thing is, result na lang yung yung extra money na pumapasok is result na lang from the things that I've built. So point is, wag nyong pangunahan na epera yung goal nyo. Hindi. I-goal nyo na makapagbigay ng value to the society. And then later on, you figure out how can you monetize that value. Because yun yung sinasabi ko, walang free money. Walang free money. So how do you create value? Study. Do your passion. Sa feeling mo, yung passion mo, kikita ka dyan in the future, then perfect your passion, perfect your craft. And then build something na people will benefit and you create value. Because when you create value, people will be, at the right context, no, people will be willing to pay. Pero hindi does it always necessary na nag-create ka ng value, yayaman ka na. Kasi iba rin kasi yung pagbebenta, marketing side na yun. You need to study marketing, no. You created value now, how can you monetize? That's where marketing comes in. No? So that's it. Yung mga sinabi ko na rin kanina na you won't be wealthy by just purely investing. There are people who become wealthy by investing. No? So Warren Buffett example, but very rare. So to be wealthy, you have to combine incomes, no, multiple source of income. Na technically ako di ko na kailangan mag-work pero nag-consulting pa rin ako, no. Because pera pa rin yan at the end of the day, and it sharpens my skills, no, because I can use that in my businesses. So practice your craft, build your skills, study everything, and then most importantly, take action.
Take action.
Yeah. Yun. Very simple.
And again, tawag dito, again, yung mga gustong magbayad ng utang, gustong mag-invest, etc. All about money. You just need to do the basics. Number 1, sacrifice muna. Yung mga
Exactly, yeah.
Yung mga needs, yun yung priority. Yung wants, medyo i-sacrifice
Actually,
muna
that's
natin.
the first move eh. That's the first move eh. Bawasan talaga yung gastos eh.
Tapos number 2, add your income.
Yeah.
Yung income po natin is meron tayong employment.
Employment, yeah.
Number 2, self-employed. Yun yung mga kung may expertise ka sa ganito. Kagaya ni Carlo, nagkaroon siya ng, naging consultant siya. So, mayroon siyang fee. So, kung ano yung, kunwari sa akin,
as my
sa
job,
event.
as a consultant, as my job. Tapos, nagsarili ako kasi kaya ko naman gawin yung sarili ko.
So, pwede din.
Oo.
So, for example,
So, business ko na siya ngayon.
Kung example, sa akin, sa events, before, di ba, sa mga celebrations, nagluluto, and then, there comes catering. Tapos, sa amin naman, ang offer ng coordinator is, before, kayo lahat yung nag-aasikaso. And then, ngayon, meron ng outsource na kami na yung mag-serve.
Mas magaling kasi yung coordinator kasi araw-araw nila ginagawa.
Mas maraming experience na. So, that's 2, self-employment. Number 3, yun na yung business. Business na mas established. Meaning, pagkakaalam ko kasi the difference between self-employed and businesses. Sa business, mas system talaga.
System, people.
Like, sa self-employed, ikaw talaga yung, kunwari, photographer, ikaw talaga yun.
Yeah.
Makeup artist, ikaw talaga yun. Pero, pag sa business kasi, kunwari si Jollibee, hindi naman mismo yung may-ari yung nandun. Kasi may system na siya.
Systems, may employees,
So,
may people.
maganda din yun na you create a system para at least ma-delegate mo na sa mga tao mo, makapag-scale up ka ng mas malaki. And then, mag-enjoy ka na sa fruits of your labor. And then, the 4th one is investment. Yun na yung, kumbaga...
Growing your wealth na naipon mo.
Growing na yun, your wealth.
Kasi maraming mga mayaman na... dito pala sa Northern Samar, marami na nawala din lahat, di ba? Kasi walang disiplina din kung paano nila ginastos. No? So, important to protect kasi pinaghirapan mo. So, you protect your wealth also by investing. No? Ganun siya.
Okay. So, that's it. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Mahaba din pala.
Mahaba ng podcast namin.
Sige,
pero sana marami kayong natutunan. Ano nyo lang, i-condition nyo na lang yung sarili nyo kasi super talaga, loaded talaga to sa knowledge. Kasi syempre business, finance, 'di ba? Lahat
na, inubos natin lahat.
Inubos
So, dapat pang isang buwan, dapat. Inubos ng araw, no?
So,
Pero
at
maraming ano pa. So, if next time siguro, if pag-uwi ko, pwede rin, okay, if interested kayo maging successful tong session na to, why not, diba?
yes, and we're also inviting, before we end, we're inviting everyone na sana mag-invest po kayo sa mga i-organize naming seminars, workshops, because we're building towards sana yung mga nasa city, nasa abroad, 'di ba? Dapat meron din tayo. And one of the things na ini-envision ko is, ako kasi I'm a fan of yung attending seminars, yung may natututunan ka talaga sa mga speakers, may mga expertise nila. So, andyan na yung sa, kunwari, kung gusto mong mag-improve sa public speaking, then you attend seminars or workshops. Si Carlo naman is willing to do speaking engagement seminars tungkol sa business or kung saan mang
yeah, for Northern Summer, di na ako maniningil, no? Kasi I'm all for giving back. Since elementary scholar ako, wala naman akong ano. So, ginastos pag-aaral. So, I'm willing to give back. Pwede ibang usapan pag nasa Manila ako, tapos
Manila rate.
Pag sa Northern Summer, yeah, I'm really offering if organizations want to invite me, maybe I can give naman ideas, mga one of two great ideas too.
Oo, kahit
to
sa akin
people,
sa events, actually isang magandang yung mga pro bono, yung nai-enjoy ko ngayon, like 5 years ago, compared to kung nasaan na ako. Minsan yung mga consultation sa events, free lang yun. Kunwari may bagong event venue na tinatayo, tapos parang parang kunwari friend ni Genesis or alam mo yun, yung parang kakilala kami na, uy, parang i-visit mo naman, ano sa tingin mo? Tapos parang, okay, ito po. Parang minsan kinoconsult ako kung magkano yung bagay na rate based on the venue. Free consultations lang yun, but it comes handy kasi pag may events kami and may mga little favors, 'di ba? Parang pasensya na po, pwede po bang mag-extend ng like for example, si stylist, kinukulang siya ng time mag-set up, tapos extend ng 1 hour. Syempre may mga time naman yung yung mga konting favors lang, tatawagan ko yung owner. So, napakagandang connection is everything talaga.
Part siya ng pagiging entrepreneur kasi yun yung sinasabi ko, diba, cooperation, win-win mindset. Hindi all the time na porket nagbigay ka ng service, gusto mo maniningil ka rin kagad, diba?
Hindi lahat sabi ko hindi lahat pera.
Yeah,
I feel like the most important thing for me is good relationship talaga.
Exactly.
Sa network. So, whether client
unless, ito yung caveat dyan, unless it's demanding too much of your time.
Yes.
Kasi, abuso na yun. Abuso na yun. Pero
kung gusto talaga nilang ibigay mo yung efforts and time mo, then maybe
5 minutes or 30 minutes ng consultation, kasi it will go a long way later on.
Pero kung talagang in detail kailangan yung expertise mo.
Tapos gawa ka pa presentation. Please. Ito yung
burger ka naman. Joke.
Diba?
Pero yun, nakakatawa na 'di ba? Way back parang mga gusgusing YFC lang tayo. Tapos ngayon, business na yung pinag-uusapan.
Dancer ka di ba dati?
Dancer. Mga judgemon kami dati. Puro lang kami kajejehan
actually,
before.
Actually, yung key, mag-worship ka.
Diba? Doon talaga nag-start.
Anyways, yeah.
Pero yun, doon din, sa mga bata pa ngayon, diba? Nasa 18, 20s, mga 25, sa nakikita nyo na trend, kumbaga, especially looking at Carlo, just take your time. Basta, wag lang, alam mo na yun, wag lang puro barkada, etc. Alam nyo na it really takes time na mag-build. So, mag-allocate din talaga kayo ng
and also, during the
oras.
journey, it's supposed to be hard. It's hard because it's supposed to be hard. Because if it's easy, then lahat sana ng tao dyan may
successful.
May mga milyon-milyon na, di ba? But see, it's not. Because it is very hard. No?
Isa sa before we end, yung gusto kong i-share, isa sa pinaka na tutuwa akong part ng sinabi ni Francis Kong, meron kaming inattenda na conference. Sabi ni Francis Kong, I really hate the millennials na nag-give up agad. Saying, ayoko nito, I don't deserve this, blah, blah, blah. So, sabi niya, ang pinakasimple niyang analogy kasi is, lahat kasi tayo, sabi niya, is talagang magdadaan sa mag-fail. Kailangan nating hindi mag-give up until we get it. Kasi, for example, ang baby, paano ba siya natututo mag-walk? Sabi niya.
Exactly,
Pag natumba siya, sasabihin ka niya na,
ayoko na maglak.
it's not for me. Diba? Sabi niya. Kailangan, matuto tayong talagang tignan yung situation na babangon tayo, tatry natin ulit until we succeed. So, yun. Again, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Again, this is Liz G and Carlo. Until next time. Bye!
Bye-bye!